We got a new toy here, and I'm going to do a quick review of basically the setting up and seasoning and first usage of the 17-inch Blackstone griddle. So without further ado, here we go. Hey again. So my wife and I are getting ready to go on some adventures. We bought ourselves a fifth wheel trailer, and we needed a grill for that trailer. So I don't like how messy something like charcoal would be, even though I like the flavor of charcoal or other grills that I've had. But because of the popularity of this Blackstone and what seems to be the ability to keep it clean and its transportability, we're going to give it a shot. So I just got this thing out of the box, super easy to set up. Anybody can do it. You've got 4 little feet that you screw onto the bottom. You need a screwdriver. This is the only tool I use for this whole thing, a Phillips head screwdriver, to screw on the handles. You just hand tighten the regulator, hand tighten your tank. The knob pushes in, and then you take the griddle, which we bought the one with the lid on it. You just take the griddle, sit it on, push it into position, and you're ready to go. That's really all there is to it. Took me 5 minutes to set up. I didn't even have to look at the book, and usually I read the book on these sorts of things. So I've already started it. It's got the little petzl start, so you don't need batteries or anything like that. You just push it in, turn it to the start position, and it'll click and fire that spark and light the thing up. So I've had it running for about 5 minutes now. These particular grills have sort of an H-shaped burner in them. The 17-inch, which this is, has one H-shaped burn in it. If you get the 22-inch, which would be, of course, 5 inches bigger, it has 2 burners on it. They both have the same shape, except they're a little smaller. Would give you more control. We didn't get that one because it's heavier for one thing, and there's just 2 of us, and this looks like a sufficient space to cook almost anything we're going to cook. I see us using this for a lot of breakfast items, you know, bacon, sausage, hash browns, eggs, pancakes, whatever you want to do. It's going to be pretty easy on this. Even like for lunches, you could do like grilled sandwiches, dinners, which I'm going to do tonight, and I'll do a little example of. We're gonna grill a bunch of vegetables on here, just some olive oil and salt and pepper, and then we'll throw some hot link sausages into it, and that should be pretty good. But to start out with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to season this thing. So I've had it going for about 5 minutes. The instructions say to let it start to discolor, which I see it's turning black here now, or starting to change color a little bit. I don't know if you can see it from the camera angle I have here, but it's starting to change color. So it says to put about, for this size grill, about a tablespoon of oil. So I've got just regular canola oil here, which I think I read somewhere that was recommended. So I'm just going to put about a tablespoon of canola oil. I have some paper towels here ready to go, and some grabbers. We just put this so it doesn't come undone. There we go. And just go ahead and pour this right on here. And then just take this and give everything a good coating. Bottoms, and get up on the sides. So this is pretty much just like if you have a cast iron skillet at home. It's pretty much the same thing. You're gonna season it, and then after that, you should never really have to do much to it other than, you know, keep it clean. I don't know if you've seen any of my prior videos, but we bought this bamboo whisk thing, and it's for cleaning a wok. Works great on cast iron. I think we're going to bring that with us, and that's what we're going to use to clean this thing. So I've got that spread on all surfaces. We're going to let it cook off. So the instructions say to let it go until it stops smoking. And at that point, we're going to do it again. And it says to do it, I believe it says 3 to 5 times. So this shouldn't take too long. I'll come back after I've done it 3 times and we'll see where it's at. And I'll give you more of a close-up of what it's starting to look like. But see, it's still smoking. When it stops smoking, I'll add some more oil and just keep coating this thing. So back in a moment. So I wanted to mention a couple other things here real quick. For the purposes of seasoning this thing and my first cook, I bought a couple of the 1-pound propane bottles, just the regular Coleman propane bottles. The regulator came with this device, with this cooktop. Basically just screw this on. When we take off on our RV trip, that RV comes with a quick connect propane outlet on the side of the fifth wheel. So I'm going to be buying a hose for that I can just plug right into the RV. The RV has a regulator built in, so I'll just lose this regulator at that time and just put another quick connect right into this end, and that way I can just run it right off the RV and not have to buy these bottles. I'll have 50 pounds of propane on board or whatever, so I won't need to buy these things at $3 or $4 a pop, whatever they are. The other thing that I mentioned before is we did buy the grill with the lid on it, and the purpose of that is my wife thought that it would really help out, like if you're grilling vegetables or something that might need some steaming. You can put this lid down and you squirt a little water in there with whatever it is that you're cooking, put the lid down, and that'll help steam those things. The other thing, I think it might help keep it clean if we're out somewhere where there's a bunch of trees and things are falling, or a bunch of birds flying around or whatever. You don't want anything to get on your grill. So this lid will help with that, help keep it clean, that sort of thing. So you can see it's still smoking. I've put 2 coats of the oil on it so far. It says wait until the sheen kind of goes away and it stops smoking. So once it's done that, I'll put another coat and we'll keep going until this thing is done. Okay, so we've put oil on this about 4 times now. It's been on for, I would say, a total of 30 minutes so far. So it went about 10 minutes in the beginning, then I started putting the oil on every 5 minutes or so. So it's starting to take on a nice color. You can see back in the corners, not so much. I'm thinking that's because this is really where the heat is, and that's smoking hot there. When I pour a little oil on there, the oil starts to bubble right away. So really hot. I was concerned about how hot this thing got underneath. That's why I put this wood, which probably not a great idea to use wood because I didn't want to melt my plastic table, but I can actually stick my hand underneath this thing and really I don't feel any heat at all. So I feel pretty good that this could sit on pretty much any kind of table and you wouldn't have a problem. One more thing I'll mention is on the back of this, they have a tray. You can see the handle for it right there. That's to catch the grease. So it's got a little grease spout right here on the back. So any drippings or whatever, push them right out the back. They'll fall in this tray. My wife bought more trays, so you just throw the tray away and there goes all the stuff that would normally, with a regular grill, you'd have to worry about having to clean that up and deal with it. But in this situation, it's just right there, cleans right off the back. So I think that's pretty convenient. So we'll keep going here. We've probably got another 10 or 15 minutes of letting this thing get nice and nice and conditioned. And then my wife's in there cutting some vegetables up, and we're gonna try a first cook on here without ever cooking on it. We're gonna show you what somebody that's never even used it might be able to do. Hopefully it turns out good, and I'll give you a good opinion at that point as to what I think about it. For my friends and family, just give you a quick peek at the yard. This is middle of April. It's been in the 80s the last couple of days. Everything's blooming out. We've got strawberries going. We've got tomatoes really starting to grow, peppers. We planted some squash and cucumbers and cantaloupes. You can see these are lantanas over here. Great flower if you want to put something in that's, I mean, that's 365 days a year that thing flowers. And then the rest, you'd see we've got azaleas for days back here. The azaleas do great here in this weather. It's just a really beautiful day out here in California. It's a little warm for this time of year, but you know, you can't complain too much, right? So, another beautiful day in California, and we'll get back to the cook now that you guys, hopefully you just fast forwarded if you didn't want to see this part, but here we go, back to the cook. Give you some indication how hot this thing is here. It's been going about 40 minutes. I think this is probably the last time that I'm going to put oil on it, even though it hasn't colored back in the corners like I thought it would. I was looking at the instructions and it said that that's a expected thing, that once you've cooked on it, it'll start sort of getting more of a solid coat all the way around this thing. So you notice I put a little bit of oil on this, and I mean it starts, you can see that oil basically sizzling there. So it's super hot. I think you would have no problem getting a good sear on a steak on this thing. So we're not doing a steak tonight, but if this turns out good, maybe we'll hit the Costco up one day soon and do some steaks. And we may or may not show you guys that, but we'll definitely give it a try. Okay, we're getting ready to do our first cook. I've got the Blackstone all seasoned up. My wife's got some stuff cut up here. We've got some yellow and red potatoes, some hot links, mushrooms, orange bell pepper, asparagus, zucchini, yellow squash, and some white onion. I wanted to show you a couple little things that she got. She bought a kit that came with 2 of these bottles. One of them we have water in. The other one, like when we take off on our trip, we'll probably put some olive oil or something like that in it. It also comes with 2 large spatulas and a tool for basically cleaning. So you can use this as a scraper for cleaning your grill when you're done. So I think she paid maybe 20 bucks for the set, 25 bucks, something like that. So I think it's going to come in handy. I'm not going to show the whole cook. I'm going to go ahead and get this going. Once it's going good, I'll probably come back and show you guys what we got. But I'm going to fire this grill. It hasn't even really fully cooled off yet. I'm going to fire it back up and get started. We're just going to put some olive oil, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, maybe a little bit of Italian seasoning, and hopefully we'll have a nice little dinner here. But we'll show you how it turns out, and then I'll give you my impressions of this Blackstone 17-inch grill. See you in a bit. Kind of show you where we are real quick. I threw the potatoes on. They've only been on a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get the sausage cooked and set that aside. Sausage really shouldn't take long. It's a pre-cooked thing, so you know, you not have to worry about, you know, poisoning yourself or anything. I'm just going to cook it because my wife you know, there's more than just the two of us here tonight, so there's a lot of food to cook here. I don't think we could throw all of this on this grill at one time. You see how much stuff she's got here, so there's probably enough to feed 5 people. So I'm going to kind of cook some of this in shifts. I'm going to get this sausage done, move it aside, put the potatoes on first because I figured that'll take a little longer. Then I'll throw probably the squash and zucchini on here and get the asparagus going. Then the mushrooms and onions and peppers probably won't take as long. So once those others start to cook, I'll kind of get them all in together. I'm going to go ahead and throw my squash and sausage back on. This was probably 3 times as much food as this grill was built for. I think my wife thought that we were inviting the whole neighborhood over. I will tell you one thing that I've learned is the hole back here in the back, you probably can't see it, but there's a hole to let the grease run through. That hole will also capture lots of your food. If you push it towards the back, it's going to fall through. So that's one, I think, thing that I don't care for, is you can lose food out the back if you don't try to keep your food pulled forward. So there's that. I've already cooked the asparagus and the potatoes. We'll throw those back on. They've only been off for maybe 10 minutes. Potatoes are still hot. I mean, they'd burn your mouth if you put them in there right now, but I just want to get everything mixed together here. I've seasoned everything as I've gone along. It's got everything that I mentioned: salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of Italian seasoning. So I'm going to close this down for just a couple minutes, let it heat back up, and then we will throw it in the serving tray and be done. I'm still on the first canister of gas. This thing's been running pretty much non-stop, other than, I seasoned it, stopped for a few minutes, started back up. So I would say we've been running for about 1 hour and 45 minutes. And if you look here on the bottle, you'll see some ice down there on the bottom. That's about how much gas there is left. So this cook and seasoning all off of one bottle. So I'm not unhappy about that. I think that's pretty good. That's 1.5 hours where you're going to get probably 1 hour 45 minutes or something out of that bottle, and that's on high the whole time. So I never turned it down once. It's been on full bore this whole time. So we'll give it a couple minutes. I'll show you the bowl when it's done, and I'll tell you what I think about the food. I think it's going to be good, though. I've tasted it as I've been going along, and it seems pretty damn good. Okay, I think it's time to get it off here. It's hot. Again, you can see there's, if we had cooked half of this, as I said before, that would have been a good amount for this grill. I think you would need the grill twice the size if you plan on cooking this much food. Another problem is that with this much food, you tend to lose a little bit off of the front here as well. So again, this is probably 4 or 5 pounds worth of vegetables, and about 4 hot links. But that one canister cooked it. Actually wasn't bad. My total cooking time, let me get this off and I'll take a look at my watch here, but I'm thinking we're maybe 40 minutes. Yeah, about 40 minutes. So there you go. Grilled vegetables and hot links on the brand new Blackstone 17-inch grill. And I've been eating it. It's great. You'll love it. Give it a try. Subscribe to my videos. I'm going to have some more. Hit like. Leave me some comments, whatever you think. Anything else you'd like to see us cook, we could do that. Have a good one.